Let's go ahead and talk about the angles in the quadrilaterals now. The angles are pretty special also. We already know that the sum of the angles in a quadrilateral, if you use your formula, n minus 2 times 180, we know that there's 4 sides minus 2, so 2 times 180, we should already know that this is 360 degrees. And the exterior angles will always add up to 360 degrees no matter what your polygon is. Let's go ahead and look at our parallel lines cut by our transversal. If we think back to the last semester, these angles in here are pretty important. Let's go ahead, you're going to need 2 colors. Let's go ahead and highlight these angles. This angle and this angle are congruent. And let's do this angle and this angle in red. You don't have to use these colors, but make sure you color them the same color. We also know that these angles inside are pretty special in parallel lines. Those are called consecutive, do you remember it from last semester? Interior, because they're inside the parallel lines, angles. Consecutive interior angles, or sometimes we might call them same side interior angles. We also have, if you look at the other side, these are also consecutive interior angles. So let's write this down too. Okay, so we're going to have 2 sets of consecutive interior angles and parallel lines cut by a transversal. Now let's apply that to our quadrilaterals. Oh, and what do we know that consecutive interior angles add up to? They add to 180 degrees, which means that they are supplementary. Do you see in the trapezoid here how we have some parallel lines? So that means that this angle and this angle are going to be consecutive interior, and this angle and this angle are going to be consecutive interior. So the consecutive angles in trapezoids are supplementary. So they add to 180, if you want to jot that down. Now let's look at our parallelogram. Do you see the consecutive interior angles in the parallelogram? Let's go ahead and color this angle and this angle. What do you notice about those angles? Well, those are congruent. So let's look. Okay, I had to switch to my yellow. Let's look at this angle and this angle. Do you notice that those are also congruent? So we have some consecutive angles here and here. Don't write that down. And we also have some congruent angles that are opposite. So the opposite angles are congruent every time in a parallelogram. And the consecutive angles we already know are supplementary. So what that means is that in a rectangle and a rhombus, you're also going to have opposite angles and consecutive angles. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and take your colors, and I want you to go ahead and color those opposite angles the same color, just like we did in the parallelogram. And then we're going to color the other angles the other color. That'll just help us see the congruent angles. Alright. Now, one other thing we need to know. In a rectangle and a square, we already know what are those angles in the corners. Those are all going to be right angles. So let's put our right angles in there on top of our colors. Alright. You are done with angles and quadrilaterals. Nice job.